Hello, everyone. I'm Levente from Midori, and I welcome you to this presentation about automated Confluence content lifecycle management. Before we dive in, I thought I should give you a little bit of background on Midori, who we are and what we stand for. We've been around in the Atlassian ecosystem for quite a long time. We are a platinum marketplace partner, and our 8 apps on the marketplace power millions of customers across 7,000 millions of users across our 7,000 customers across the globe, from startups to Fortune 500 companies. And today I wanted to talk about better content archiving. This app has a particularly long history on server and data center environments. But in 2023, it was reborn for Confluence Cloud. It was built from scratch and reborn for Confluence Cloud. It is already cloud fortified and a top-rated app for Confluence Cloud. And it's been a go-to solution for Confluence content lifecycle management. And I want to show you today why it earns the same position on Confluence Cloud that it achieved on data center and server instances and environments before. First, I want to share some of the misconceptions that I've been hearing that I think you should avoid. And then, of course, the benefits that you can gain. Then I want to give you a couple of options to how to understand your content quality in Confluence on the global level, on space level, and on the page level as well. And after that, we'll go all into automations, configuring automated page statuses, notification emails, and archiving for your Confluence content. Now let's get started with some objections that I've been hearing. The first comment that we get a lot is that we are too small. We don't need content lifecycle management just yet. Now, the reality is that if you rely on Confluence and your team is growing, you can get to a stage where you have too many outdated content in just less than 5 years. In extreme cases, in just 2 or 3 years. So if you are a small team, you have 2 things going for you. One is that it's easy to create a strategy as you don't have complex workflows. You can get the feeling and make your team get used to rules painlessly. And the other important thing is that to start it's cheap to get started. Better content archiving works if you have simple content lifecycle management rules, but it scales with you to handling hundreds of thousands of pages down the line. So the best time to create a content lifecycle management strategy is today. It is not only the thing of big companies. The second is that it's just clean up when we need. It's just one thing. We clean up Confluence when it's messy. Our experience is that it's not that simple. Many things can go wrong with large instances, and it's easier to have an automation cleanup process in place than struggling with thousands of pages and trying to decide what to archive and what to delete and so on. And the third is that it's just a one-person responsibility. We need an admin, an owner, a space owner, or a gardener, or whoever you call it, and it's their responsibility. We believe that responsibility should be shared across all Confluence contributors. They need some level of independent decision-making mandate over their contents so they can make the lifecycle management process run smoother. And that's what better content archiving helps you implement. And now look at the key benefits that you're gaining with better content archiving. It saves money. You're automating the process of finding, updating, notifying page owners, and cleaning up your content. You save money by not having to have a full or a part-time employee doing this. And connected to this, it saves time. less time your team members have to bother each other for missing information, for incomplete documents, the more time is spent on productive work. And third, that I think is commonly forgotten, is that you invested in Confluence. Don't let it lose its appeal. Maintain Confluence content lifecycle so the tool can live up to its full potential. Okay, let's see what options are there to understand your content lifecycle and your content quality in Confluence. In the apps menu at the top, select better content archiving to arrive to the content status overview screen. This is available for all users, but it respects view permissions. So what your team members will see will be personalized metrics based on what they are allowed to access. This is a global view, meaning that it lists all your spaces across your Confluence site, and it makes it easy to find how many pages are in in a certain status, and quickly understand if there are bottlenecks in your Confluence instance. The first two columns are metrics for content in a space and an indicator of currently what percentage is tracked. The rest of the dashboard are all the statuses that are configured for your spaces. So if you see missing data in some cells, it is because that status is not configured for that space. This view scales with you if you have a lot of spaces. It displays spaces on pages, not on a very long list, and you have other options to filter this list further. You can access the same content status overview screen for just one space, so on the space level. And here, obviously, just one space is displayed, but it only has the statuses that are configured for that space. And on the page level, you have what's called the space for what's called the page status indicator. It's at the top of the currently viewed page. It displays the last updated date and last view date for that page, and also who viewed and who last updated it, as well as the expiration date, archiving date, or a page owner or page owners, if there are any. To better understand the page status, you can go to the status details menu that will explain exactly what CQL defined the current status. So for example, the app checked the CQLs for all possible statuses from top to bottom, and it stopped at the expired one because that was the first that it validated to true. If you want to dig deeper into what happened to this page, you can select the Analytics Quick Action. Here you have insights for the past 30, 60, and 90 days for the full history of that page. It gives you how many total views you had in that time frame by how many users. Now let's see how to configure your page statuses. And the first thing that I want to mention here, and it's an important difference between what's available in Confluence Cloud built in, is that in Confluence Cloud, you only have 5 statuses that you can control or set up globally. With better content archiving, you can use up to 20. It aligns better with your company document workflow, even if it's a pretty complex one. So this screen on the content statuses, under the content statuses tab, is where you store your statuses. A status can have a name, a description, a color, and an icon. Now, let's see how you can configure when to apply that status. If you switch back to the content status scheme, you find your content status schemes. A scheme is basically a collection of statuses that you can apply to one or multiple spaces, like a shared configuration. Now let's open one up for editing, like the general content status scheme. As I mentioned, the scheme has a description, a name, and you can add your statuses one by one. When you add a status, you have the ability to define using CQL. This makes it super flexible and precise. With this, you can reuse your statuses in different schemes and give them a different definition. So you can achieve that documents in different spaces go expired after a different number of days. In other words, you can tailor your statuses to a specific type of documents. And if you scroll down, you can see that you can have all the statuses that you need for a certain space. These statuses refresh automatically. Once you created and saved your content status scheme, it all happens automatically in the background. There are, however, a couple of options, we call them quick actions, that allow you to update certain statuses manually right on the page. You have a quick action for updating a page, for confirming its validity as is, for setting the owner, expiration and archiving dates, and for excluding it from all lifecycle checks. You can control these statuses manually. Now that I mentioned page owners, I want to spend a little bit of time here because it's an advanced version of page ownership that Better Content Archiving implements. If you choose the set owner quick action, you can add one or multiple people as page owners. What better, you can add or bulk change owners of a full page tree with just a few clicks. As you will see in a minute, you can use page owners as recipients of automated email notifications as well. So you don't have to know who they are. You can just say that email the page owners, and that's it. We'll get to that in a minute. So I think it's a key difference to the page owner concept that is built into Confluence Cloud. Now that we mentioned notification emails, let's get to how to configure your automated notification emails. An automated notification system is a key part of a content lifecycle management strategy that you can implement with Better Content Archiving. First of all, you have the templates, the actual content of your emails. The app comes with a number of predefined templates for typical use cases, like for expired pages, not viewed pages, already archived pages. And you can add new email templates here or modify the existing ones. It means that you can tailor your message to the right audience, add extra information into the email, or translate the message to your language. If you open up an email template, this is what it looks, it's basic HTML. So you can see that it's very easy to change or add new content to the email. Switching back to the Schemes tab, you find your notification schemes. Now let's open up the general notification scheme that comes by default and contains notifications for the most common use cases. Very similarly to status schemes, also has a name and a description. And as you can see, it's enabled. It has a schedule defined with cron expressions. Now, cron expressions allow you for extreme precision in defining schedules. The stars next to the field open a little cheat sheet for you with common schedules that you can tweak afterwards. The SQL query defines the pages that you want to include in your email. Now, it's all pages in the expired, not viewed status. But you can use this notification system, if you think about it, to send out notifications about any page defined with the CQL. It doesn't have to be about lifecycle events. For example, you can create a periodic notification email about pages with a certain customer name in the title, or you can recreate your daily digest email, custom made to your needs. You can specify if you want to find pages in current or archived pages, archived spaces, a template to use, and finally, recipients. Notice that you can add the page owner as an email recipient with a click, and you can set specific users or groups as recipients as well. Like if you scroll down, you can see that the next email is already added to the chain. So you can build up your email chain for a particular space or spaces that gets sent out at your schedule. And then in the inbox of your team members, this is how it default expired pages notification looks like. Notice the page list. Better Content Archiving works with page lists. This is a big difference to, for example, automation for Confluence. If you try to implement this notification for 21 pages with automation for Confluence, each recipient would have gotten 21 emails each. Better Content Archiving works with page lists, which creates a more condensed and easier to consume notification experience. Okay, so we know how to configure our statuses, know how to configure our notification emails, and let's look at what automations mean inside Better Content Archiving. Automations are the same trigger and action pairs that you were used to. The difference is that here, these are dedicated to content lifecycle management. Currently, the archiving and deletion actions are available for these automations. Now let's open one up for editing so we know what we're talking about. The scheme, as you already know, is a collection of automations that you can apply to one or multiple spaces. It also has a schedule and a SQL query field to define what pages you want to process with your automation. As action, you can select archive or delete. New actions can be introduced later, so you are welcome to reach out to us and tell what actions would be useful for your team. But anyway, this is the way where you can schedule your automated archiving. Once you have this enabled, everything that is in the to-archive status will be archived at the exact time you configured. No need to come in and manually select pages to archive or delete. It all happens automatically in the background. Now, as I mentioned, automations are about actions performed without human touch. However, there is a way to force automations to execute for times when you just can't wait for the next time to run. In that case, you can go to the main configuration screen, select jobs, and here execute automations. This will execute automations for globally for all your spaces, but you have the same option to execute the automation for just one space. And in that case, you can start this from the settings of that particular space and not from the main settings. Okay, now the only thing that's left is actually looking at what we've done, browsing archived content. Where can we find archived content? On the bottom left part is where the archived pages section is located. So after an archiving automation has run, you can click that and it will take you to the section where you find your archived pages. So it's not a separate space as it was on data center and server, but it's a dedicated section within a space. Here you can browse and also restore your archived content if you ever need to. Now, with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention and for this opportunity to present Better Content Archiving to you. Check out our blog for more content on Better Content Archiving and this topic, and I encourage you to reach out to me with questions or comments. And of course, start a free trial of Better Content Archiving today to experience it yourself and create your content lifecycle management strategy.